What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Bucks on Deck podcast episode. I'm Anthony Murphy. With me, as always, Nola Jeffy. Nola, what's going on, man?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. How's the Christmas shopping going?
No, it's going. We got my son done pretty early. Although we don't get too crazy with him. He'll probably get more from Grammy and Pappy. But see, it's pretty much Christmas every day all year long for him anyway. So
yeah, that's like I'm not big on Christmas because like if I just want something throughout the year, or like even like with Kim, like if I see something I want that I think she'd like, I just buy it anyways. We've already exchanged like multiple presents with each other. So,
really,
yeah. Like I'm wearing a hoodie that she bought me right now for the podcast. So like we're horrible with this stuff.
Yeah, that was, I guess, kind of this past weekend at Costco. There was a handful of things we talked about, switching to in the future. And it was just Costco had a sale on this. So I was like, well, let's just get it. Costco had a sale on this. I was like, let's just get it. I was like, I'm currently going to be working some overtime. I was like, overtime. There you go.
Yep. I am the worst person to shop for because everyone will ask me, it's like, well, do you need anything? I'm like, no, I don't. Like I'm a grown person who makes like grown people money. Like if there's something I need, I go and buy it. Or if there's something I want, I can go and buy it too. And like I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I am too.
Yeah, but anyways, we decided to go ahead and record another. We did one. We pushed back last week's episode so we could talk about the winter meetings, and we figured we'd go ahead and try to get back onto schedule here and go ahead and record Monday night. Not too much has happened in between then and now. Thankfully, a couple things have happened within like the last 48 hours, basically, that has kind of helped create some sort of content for us to talk about here on the site. But I guess we'll lead off with the thing that's probably going to take the least amount of time to talk about, and that's Trey Cabbage was released apparently, and it sounds like it's for him to go play overseas, an opportunity to go play overseas. I mean, I guess were we. For me, I think like the writing was kind of on the wall, like when they picked up like Spencer Horwitz, left-handed bat kind of thing. At that point, like I already had questioned if he was going to make it to camp, and like once they made the trade for Horwitz, I was kind of like, I don't think he'll make it to camp at that point. Were you kind of along the same lines as that as well?
I mean, I was even just thinking now that might have been part of the reason they went and got Enmanuel Valdez. Yeah. Honestly, Trey Cabbage, if you listen to this, I'm sorry, but he's I forget who it was last week, but he's not someone that was in the back of my mind. I completely forgot about Trey Cabbage until it was like, oh, Trey Cabbage released. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of where I was at with it as well. Like I said, yeah, he had that one really intriguing year in AAA, but like he just was never really able to do much in the majors, and maybe a fun guy to carry through camp, up to spring training if like there's not another option there, or if they can't bring someone in or whatever like that, or if like you're a team who like the Pirates like 5 years ago or something like that, when they're only going to win, they're in line for a last place finish. He's a guy you probably carry through spring training to give him an actual opportunity. But now at this point, the opportunity isn't there, and he was looking for an opportunity overseas. So I think he still had an option left. So I mean, I guess theoretically they could have stashed him in the minors, but frees up another 40-man roster.
Yeah, he'll at least always have the fact that he had his first career home run against the Pirates.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. I'm sure that's a pretty common occurrence, though, especially
kind of. What was it? Sal Frelick, I think, is it 4 career home runs and 3 of them are against the Pirates, and 2 of them came in he hit 2 home runs all of last year, and they came in back-to-back games against the Pirates in Milwaukee.
So, for a lot of Pirates fans know, Sal Frelick is just like this big masher.
Pretty much. I mean, he's Milwaukee's version of Ian Happ, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you already mentioned him a little bit, and I guess the most noteworthy thing to happen was the Pirates made another trade. Pirates made another trade with the Red Sox, and the Pirates made another trade, sending another pitcher to the Red Sox for a hitter. They get Enmanuel Valdez, who put up some, I guess, okay numbers in AAA, kind of thing. But Nola, what were your thoughts whenever the trade kind of broke?
I mean, it was a name I semi-recognized, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. Looking into him more, I'll say it paired with Spencer Horwitz, it does seem they're targeting specific guys potentially, just because, I mean, you put Valdez's and Horwitz's charts, graphics side by side. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between them. Just two guys that, I mean, they're not gonna be hitting 150 mile an hour home runs or bullets, but they have a lot of in zone contact. They find the sweet spot often. They don't strike out. They got a lot of play patience. So, yeah. I mean, and then the other thing I was thinking too is just with regards to they at least have better expected numbers than when they got IKF last year, whose expected weight on base average was just not very good. Yeah. With his poor contact. Both of these guys at least have strong expected numbers. It's just at a certain point, I mean, unless they're going to single teams to death, they're going to need a little more pop than just Cruz and Reynolds. And in addition, they're not really helping their team defensively. Because that was another thing too. I thought, I was like, maybe he's at least strong defensively, and it's like no, hasn't played much outfield. I don't know if they're going to try that, but his numbers at second base are pretty bad.
Yeah, he was on Baseball Savant. They used outs above average. He was the third worst defensive second baseman in baseball last year. He had like a -7 or 8 outs above average.
So you know what that means?
Starting right fielder.
I was going to say shortstop.
I mean, he's played a couple games in the minors there, so I think we need to put it past the Pirates. I think we need to put an over/under on how many spring training games until we see Valdez play shortstop. We'll have to set that three games in.
3.5.
3.5. Okay, so 3.5 over/under games, spring training games before we see Valdez play shortstop. I think so. Yeah. You know what? I was looking at this, and I was looking at like the TJ Stats player card. If he didn't have if he wasn't like in the 21st percentile in sprint speed, or maybe lower, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was pretty bad. I actually probably liked it a lot more because it kind of feels like, with the way his contact numbers and the way he hits the ball, and like you said, like the sweets, finds the sweet spot and everything like that. Like if he can find be like a gap to gap hitter, he can turn some of those singles into like doubles and stuff like that. And so, but like he's just not that kind of base runner kind of thing. So,
which is
I like it a lot less.
I was like, which is another aspect to Spencer Horwitz, which I thought. I was like, oh, maybe he's got decent sprint speed. They could at least give him a go in the outfield. I was like, no, his sprint, it was awful.
Yeah. They single hit. You kind of in this situations you want a single to turn into a double. With Valdez, it just looks like the single stays a single for him. But he does have like the exit velocity numbers look pretty good. He did hit was it like 6 home runs in 70 games last year in the majors, and like another 11 in AAA. So he hit 17 home runs total throughout the year, which I guess for second baseman isn't horrible. So there is a little power there. He is, like we talked about, like Horwitz with like his platoon splits. Valdez had a -10 WRC plus against lefties last year. So I don't think he's going to be a guy that's you're going to want hitting lefties too often. But even then, I don't know how many more positions the Pirates are going to be able to sacrifice to like a platoon thing before, because you're already going to have a designated hitter that's limited to an extent with like Andrew McCutchen. So I don't know. I don't think this was the kind of trade that you need to go up in arms with. I know naturally everyone's going to go up in arms over it anyways. He was a guy who was designated for assignment, and the Pirates gave up their 19th round pick from last year, who hadn't even made his debut yet for it. So it's like, this is kind of like one of those like flyer, like, we kind of like the metrics here. Let's take a flyer. Let's take a look. And then,
not similar, but not too dissimilar to, I guess, last year's Austin Strickland for Joey Bart in a sense.
Yeah. They like this probably a guy that he got DFA'd, and like the analytics department saw that he got DFA'd and ran into Charrington's office. It's like, hey man, is there, can you make a phone call? See if we can grab this guy. There's a lot of stuff here that we're interested in. And, like maybe the base numbers aren't great, but you have a new hitting coach with a new hitting philosophy. Maybe it's something that even Matt Haig saw, and maybe thought he can do something with it, kind of thing too. So,
yeah, I know when I mentioned that in the comments earlier, just about how it seems they're at least getting guys that have shown big league success of in zone contact. Whereas, a lot of the guys they were acquiring previously, your G1 Bays, your Tucapita Marcanos, they were high contact hitters. But then as soon as they got to the majors, all of a sudden they were swing and miss guys. So, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to further say that, a generally heated topic on in Bucks on Deck's comments, but I'll be interested to see how much filters through the system as a whole.
Yeah. We'll see what kind of focus there is, or what kind of focus it appears to be next year, and how it filters down. And I'd rather have a guy who is going to at least has the ability to make consistent contact, and then you kind of work with them a little bit better. I think finding more people that are like, have like the huge swing and miss issues, that's a lot steeper of a hill to climb to try to fix them than maybe, okay, well, this guy hasn't really hit well, but he does make a lot of contact. Maybe that's a lot easier to work with here than, and also to be honest, like, I know they gave up 2 more notable prospects, but like at least on paper with like some of the metrics and stuff like that you can kind of see the reason why the Pirates would want to take a flyer here. Whereas, like I mentioned in the article I did the other day with like Brian De La Cruz, like the only metric that you could have seen that would have intrigued you in that was the 18 home runs. Like there's nothing else there really on paper that was like, hey, this might be a good pick. No. Everything else just screamed like, this is a horrible idea. No matter what kind of prospects you give up for it, this is just a bad idea. And it was going to end badly. At least here, there's like, okay, well, he makes decent contact. He doesn't chase too much. There's a little power here. He hits lefty or righty's pretty good.
I almost feel like Ben did that to troll me just because I had been talking smack on Brian De La Cruz all season.
Yeah. You kind of warning us from the get go with that.
I was making fun of him back in the opening series
Opening
in
day.
Miami.
Basically opening day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I guess one other thing we could talk to with like Valdez is like he has options remaining. So like I feel like he's probably, if he sticks through spring training, like he's probably destined to be like the Indianapolis opening day second baseman kind of thing. But in a bigger picture wise, I guess this is a good opportunity to kind of talk about like the second base position in general. And it's kind of something that's been on my mind with it. And I kind of want to get your thoughts to like with like how it's currently shaping up and with like who's there. And obviously it's probably not going to be a position that they aggressively pursue unless something falls into their lap like it did here. Is like, do you feel like just Nick Gonzales is just the guy going into 2025, or is there some sort of competition that they can start? Is this like a platoon maybe that they're setting up with Gonzales and Valdez? What do you think?
I mean, I'm honestly not really sure what to think. I know going into the offseason, that's kind of how I felt about it. It was pretty much Gonzalez's to lose unless they brought in someone far and wide better. But at least with Gonzalez, he also, made huge strides in defensively. So he has that in his back pocket that went well last year, which they need.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Just because there's so many of those types on the roster and in the depth. It'd make more sense if they got a shortstop capable guy, and then it was like, okay, now what do you do with IKF? And then maybe it becomes an IKF versus Nick Gonzales argument. But as of right now, I mean, IKF's your shortstop, and then they have 20 second basemen. I don't even necessarily want to call them utility men because it's like, no, most of them are probably second base best. But I mean, Triolo obviously could go anywhere. I was wondering if maybe he'd be the Horowitz platoon. I don't know.
I don't think I would like that. I still don't like the idea of Jared. I know a lot of people like it just because like the defense is good and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. Something about my best defensive player playing first base, just, or I guess second best defensive player if Cabrian Hayes is healthy. Just something doesn't sit right with him being a designated first baseman, even on like a platoon basis, kind of thing. So,
well, then I mean, the argument then is, I mean, do you give him a leg up for third base? Otherwise, I don't know. Is the defense enough that he should get second base over Gonzalez? I don't know.
I don't know. I think if there's anyone who's probably has an opportunity to take the starting job from Gonzalez, it'd probably be if like Triolo had like another really great spring, and then maybe like Gonzalez struggles. But even then, like with the how uncertain Cabrian can be health wise and stuff like that, maybe you don't want to you want to keep Triolo available there. I mean, I guess if something happens, you always just kick Triolo back to third, and Gonzalez starts taking more everyday at bats at second. I don't know, but I kind of agree with you. I think at this point, like Gonzalez, it's just kind of Gonzalez's to lose. I think in an ideal scenario, you probably bring someone else in that can probably, if not is better, is probably right around the same level as him, that you can have some sort of competition and stuff like that. But I get the reality of that's not going to happen. They're going to invest the money elsewhere, and just kind of hope that Gonzalez takes another step forward. I don't know that, but like as far as like the platoon thing that I mentioned, I think having a platoon at second base is probably would probably be like the least ideal position for me to see a platoon. It just seems having someone like Valdez who can only hit righties and only play second base, that just seems like such a roster restriction waiting to happen. And like we've already seen that play out quite a bit last year.
Which you have me sitting here thinking now, saying all that. I'm like, watch him try and make Nick Gonzales the starting shortstop.
To be honest, like didn't he like graded out like not bad there for a while? It's just like the arm strength is just really bad. So I guess I could see it.
And I've gone on record before saying I'm not even that worried about arm strength as a whole. It's just everything else. You need such clean actions.
Yeah.
That the arm strength isn't a factor. That's why Brian Hayes is so good at third base because his arm strength is. If you look at his arm strength, he can gun it if needs to, but like his average throws, I want to say like 78 miles an hour or something. Like he's one of the on the very low end of third baseman's average arm strength. Is just everything is so clean that
he never needs to throw it hard because it's just always. Yeah. It's not like O'Neal Cruz taking like an extra 7 steps and having to throw it 108 miles an hour.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. I think like a lot of me too, like right when the season ended, I was kind of gearing myself up for like Nick Gonzales and Nick York to maybe kind of like battle it out for the starting second baseman job. But ever since that like Baseball America article came out, or where they did like the top 10 prospects and like the projected rosters, and they had like Nick York in right field, like just there's been a part of me that's itching. It's like the Pirates haven't made a move in right field to do anything with right field because they feel like, I don't think they're going to give it outright to Nick York, but they like Nick York may factor into the outfield next year more than the infield.
Watch Nick York go to left field and Reynolds and right.
Yeah. That would work. Reynolds has the stronger arm. I think. Kind of feel like I never felt like York looked bad out in the outfield at any point when we were watching him in Indy. I don't think there's anything to do where it's like there's certain players where you kind of just watching like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I remember even with his speed, I feel like watching Ji-Hwan Bae when he first made the switch to the outfield, like watching him out there is kind of like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Like the only thing that's going to save him is his speed, and that's kind of just been the case.
And that's what with Ji-Hwan Bae was. Like he would get to balls because of his speed, and the thought was that at least with some more time out there, some more reps, it might smooth out, and it never smoothed out. No, which even just made me remember one of the first times I saw Kevin Kramer, I think in left field. I was like, no, don't ever do that again. Do not do no.
Yeah. So interesting thing, like the Pirates, they have a couple other, of course, like someone like Peguero, like he was given the 4th option, so like they don't necessarily have to keep him up in the majors. They can always send him back down to AAA for another year to work on things. But I think at some point you kind of just want to, like, even if he hasn't shown that like maybe he's deserving of an extended look, maybe you kind of just want to give him an extended look anyways at some point to see maybe if just something clicks while he's up there. I mean, this guy who had like a combined 2020 season in 2023 between the minors and the majors. So like the talent's there. It's just maybe he just needs that opportunity.
If they want the upside play, that's probably going to be it. He's the most capable and athletic guy of the available options to do it. Unless they go buck wild and you're like, you know what, Key, go to shortstop. That would be wild, which I'd be for, but I can't see them doing that.
No. I think we have to kind of come to the understanding that like IKF is probably the opening day shortstop, and I'm not going to say it's because of the contract, but like also I can't imagine the Pirates having an $8 million utility man kind of thing either. So I kind of feel like your highest paid infielder is probably going to go to the premium spot kind of thing.
And then you're going to leave the other high-paid outfielder and at third other high-paid infielder at his cornerstone spot in third base. So,
yeah, it's we're heading towards another year to where it's like the options at like your most premium position there. It's just there's so many names, but like, are there really options? They don't feel like actual like the only one that like of the names. Well, we haven't even mentioned him yet. The only guy who you feel like is a capable shortstop out of this group is Alika Williams, and he has a career WRC plus of 44. So,
although that is kind of an intriguing thought in a sense that I wonder if he's someone that Matt Hay could get more out of. Only because there were times where I'd be watching him in Indy and you'd look at the StatCast metrics and Alika would smoke the ball. Like he would rip it.
He like when he came to the Pirates, like they had him change something in his stance. Yeah, I can't remember what it was that they said, or who said it, but
Well, I
like
think
he changed something, and he came in and started tearing the ball. Like,
well, I
tearing the
think it
cover
was
off the ball.
similar. It was somewhat similar to like with Nick Gonzales, to where was it last year where they said that they told him that he changed something ever since he left college, and then people were like, so he changed his stance or mechanics once starting pro ball, and no one ever said anything. And it's like, oh, once I got back to what I was doing in college and started hitting again. I want to say it was pretty much the exact same situation with Alika, to where he like altered mechanics or something once going pro, and then returned back to what he was doing while at Arizona State, and it started clicking. But and that's what I'm saying. Like I'd look at like the exit velocity rankings, like the daily ones for like the indie games, and I mean Alika would be atop him at times.
Yeah,
Like hitting a ball like 100, 12, 114. I'm like, where's that coming from? But it obviously never translated to the majors.
no, and yeah. So shortstop, yeah, I think ideally you get some sort of upgrade, but like again, like the reality is we're probably looking at IKF. I have grown more on Nick Gonzales, I think, over the past couple months and a little bit in the off season compared to like where I was like a year or two ago on him. I do think at something like the quality of contact metrics and stuff like that against like breaking pitches is still like a little like scary. And I don't think I think the like improved numbers and stuff like that are still like if they up the percentage of like breaker balls he faces, that's still maybe like he comes crashing down a little bit. But I think at this point he's probably your best option going into the year at second base. And
I still think the Pirates need to get on the phone with the Rockies or Athletics.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm still up for a couple. Like if you're looking at like a prospect for prospect kind of trade, I still think there's some opportunities there that you could probably maybe get like another Nick York or Billy Cook type trade or something like that done. But
yeah, you want to be sad?
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to be sad?
Yeah.
Cole Carrig, I just was looking at this, and Cole Carrig's ranked third on Baseball America's updated top 10 for Colorado.
Yep, that's a combine guy for us.
They got him in 65th overall.
Damn,
65th.
I'm telling you, we sniffed that one out right immediately at the combine.
Not even that, but I mean, we got a new regime, so I guess we got to give them a little leeway. But they had to take another infielder, second baseman that they thought could play shortstop. That probably should go to center field out of Michigan State, and we could have had Cole Carrig.
you put some respect on Mitch Jebb's name because he was the topic of my first article at BA. So you will respect his name to an extent. But yes,
your first article could have been on either Trey
my first
Morgan
article would have been on Cole Carrick.
or Cole Carrick.
Yeah, it probably definitely would have been. If the Pirates had drafted him after we had talked about him like during the combine stuff and all that, 10,000% I was talking to him when I was in Greensboro. 10,000%. 10,000. Not even close. And I would have bugged the hell out of them until I had a chance to talk to him.
Yeah. But, returning to what I even said a little earlier, just I'll be curious to see if because he changed his mechanics a bit and started hitting well. So, but I will be curious to how Matt Haig's hiring filters through the system.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. As it was, I mean,
like
the stat. What was it? The Statcast when they started doing like the bat speed metric and stuff like that. Like it was clear like whether or not it was intentional or not. And like a lot of times you probably lean towards intentional, but like the Pirates were right up there when it comes to swing speed and stuff like that. And you look at a couple players like Matt Haig or Horowitz, he isn't too high on that, but that's allowed the contact rates and everything to be like that. Valdez's like bat speed isn't high, but that's also led to higher contact numbers as well.
Yeah, and that's at I mean, you looked at the major league data. It was the Pirates like to swing hard and impact the ball, but they just rarely made contact. When you looked at the minor league data, and there's obviously data we can't see, but people like Lance Brzezowski, and I always get his name wrong. I should have it on the side. But also like Baseball America talked about it too. Just that, I mean, almost identical numbers to where it was like, oh yeah, I mean, when they hit the ball, they hit it hard. The problem is they're not hitting the ball. So,
what was it like? They're I don't know if they're top 10, but they're in the top half when it comes to like 90th percentile exit velocity for as like system wide. But then like the contact plus metric, whatever that they put together, they're like bottom 5 when it came to contact. So swing hard.
Either way.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is just make a trade for Max Muncy and Denzel Clark, and there's 2 upper level positions of need. I'm sure Oakland could use a cost controlled pitcher. Do it.
Yeah. When they're not out there tossing money around or making big trades, make a small one with us, with the Pirates.
Yeah. Have a Bailey Falter.
Yes. The only thing better than a Luis Severino is a Bailey Falter.
Exactly. And you can have him for longer than 2 years for $1 bajillion.
Yeah. Very fair. But I think our goal of keeping this pretty short actually worked out here. We were able to get to about a half hour, but did you have anything else you wanted to add on Valdez or second base or really just anything?
Not really. I just like I'm getting kind of sick and tired of the milquetoast risk adverse moves and stuff. Like I need a little spice in my life. Yeah. Like I just
give us some spicy, and if it don't work out, that's fine.
I've always been a fan of like the Latina Hispanic flair. So I need a little spice.
Let's go. Did you have any NOLA knowledge for us?
Nothing particular. I was gonna maybe have a little advice, talk about a new mattress, but I haven't slept on it yet. I just unboxed it because my frame came a day too late, and I had to do it today. So
okay, well
maybe my advice will be a review next week.
That sounds good.
Actually, I take that back. I won't be recording next week.
Yeah, well, that probably means I'll forget to record. So
I'll be at the Pens game.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Well, I was going to ask how you're going to spend your Christmas, but I guess there that is. So, all right. Well, where can they find you on social media?
At Nola Jeffy, NOLAJEFFY, at either the Sky or Twitter.
I've done a better job on posting on Blue Sky this past week. Still not doing as good of a job as I want to, because so much of the stuff on Twitter like just frustrates the heck out of me. That like
Yeah,
most of the stuff I post on Blue Sky is like pretty much like hate posting, because like I'm so mad at the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter. It's like, well, I'm not doing this. I'm not going on here anymore. Let me take this over to Blue Sky, and then I post on there instead. That's pretty much how most
yeah.
of the stuff has gone.
I've been just kind of MIA. Period. So
Yeah, I've been taking some extended breaks off of social media and stuff, trying to chill with it being the off season. But yeah, so
I don't think the melatonin's kicking in right now.
it's kicking in for me right now. I'm feeling it right now. But as always, follow me on Twitter at _Murphy88. On Blue Sky, it's just Anthony Murphy. Whatever the part after is. Subscribe to Bucks on Deck Substack. I'm gonna have a paid feature this week on Xander Neath and his super intriguing fastball. Daily updates on the system. I've been doing some like trade analysis when the Pirates have been making trades. May get Nola to get involved here within the next week. We've been talking about something.
I just thought of something. Once you finish,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just thought of my NOLA knowledge.
Okay.
If you're in the fantasy playoffs, the way to win.
Okay.
What's that?
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in 2 playoffs. So
well, I'm about to get a dub, and I figure what you do is you create a parlay of your opponent's players. So either you're gonna make money by getting your ass kicked, or you're gonna jinx them. And so far, I've jinxed the people in my last 2 weeks. So I'm 2 for 2 in jinxing them.
Instead of NOLA knowledge segment, we're gonna have like a NOLA jinx segment where you just talk about all the bets you made and didn't go your way. So
I mean, I once again, I guess I could just post single leg props for NBA, but that's not my dig.
No, takes a special something. But like I said, follow us on social media. Follow us on subscribe to the site. If we don't record next week, which I may still do something if Nola's going to be out of town, we'll be back after the holidays. But thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Deuces.